We already have a lot of functionality in our game, like the fact that we can build units in our towns, or our units, our farmers can create structures. Now we have a few more issues, like that our units can step on top of the forest area, which basically I would like to penalize the movement, but we can still move forward on top of the mountain, which I would like to be an impassable terrain, just like the water area, but we can move on top of those. So basically our map currently is only a background. I would like to ensure that we can make those elements of our map impassable terrain or difficult terrain and influence the movement of our units. We have also one issue, that right now if we select our unit and move on top of the water, the build menu doesn't disappear, so we can still create a structure even after the farmer is done moving. Another thing is the range of movement. So when we know about our map, we can implement this kind of highlight to let the player know where they can move, and this is a feature that is very important for a strategy game, and we are creating type of a strategy game. So this is one important feature that I would like to also implement in this section. Okay, back in our project. Before we start creating our map data and creating the system where we can limit our unit movement, let's deal with this issue where our farmer can still build a structure whenever they are out of the movement points, because the menu doesn't hide when they are done moving. So let's go to our build system in the hierarchy. Let's select the build manager script, 3 dots, and edit the script. Great. Now do let me know in the comments if this size of the font is good enough for you, that you see all the code, because I had some comment that this is too small, so let me know if this is indeed an issue and I will make it larger. For now, this is a great example to show you how using Unity events or any events in our projects benefit us even when we want to change something. So our unit has this Unity event finished moving, and finished moving is called when we have current movement points less or equal to 0. So if we go to our building manager script, we have the reference to our farmer unit that we have acquired in this updated version. When we call handle unit selection, when we know that we have selected a worker, we are getting the reference to our farmer unit, which is a unit. And if this is not null and this farmer unit can still move, what we can do is we can, in this if statement, in this handle unit selection method, we can call farmer unit dot, and we should have finished moving Unity event reference, because the reference is public. And basically what we can do is we can call add listener on it. And what do we want to do when we are out of the movement points? Well, basically we want to reset building system. So this is the method that simply sets the farmer unit to be null and hides the unit building UI. And this is why we should use the Unity events, because we have easier way to add new logic without having to assign our building manager to our unit to let the unit know that there is something like building manager in our game. We do not care about this. As long as the unit has a way to inform any object in our game that it has finished moving, we can use it for any other system like our building manager. So now what we want to do is in the reset building system, when we have invoked this, when we want to reset the farmer building UI, what we want to do is check if our farmer unit is not null, because it can be null sometimes. So if this is not null, we are going to call farmer unit. Again, we are going to access finished moving, and we can call remove listener, and we are going to pass the name of this method. So this is reset building system. So now we have resetted this assignment to this as a listener to this finished moving of this method. So now we have deleted this connection between our farmer and this reset building system. So this should now work. So let's save it. Let's go back to Unity. Okay, we do not have to do anything in the inspector. Let's just press play, and we are going to see that when we finish moving, the UI is gone, so we can't really build anything. Great. Now if we pause the game when it is playing, you will not see in our farmer unit any assignment here in this finished moving as a listener. So maybe let's start playing again. And when we assign to the events through our scripts, the method will not show up in the inspector. As you can see, there is no new element assigned to this farmer unit that we have selected. And when we finished moving, as you can see, nothing has disappeared because here we can only see the methods assigned through the inspector. Okay, anyways, that is it for fixing this bug. Now we are going to move on to the second part of this video, which is about our map. So, as you might recall, in our grid object in our hierarchy, we have all the elements connected to our map. If we select all of those are all tile maps. If we disable it, we cannot see our map. Now, let's re-enable one by one each tile map. So first tile map is the sea, which basically represents the whole map. So now, if we remove the island tiles from our sea map, we will get all the water tiles, which can be used, for example, for the boat movement or ship movement on our map. So this is why the water tiles cover a whole map and are not deleted below the islands. Now next we have the end map collider, which again I have hoped to use for the boat movement, but for now this is unimportant. The next tile map is the islands tile map. If we enable it, as you can see, it represents our island. But is it truly so? Let's disable the sea tile map, and we will see that our tiles that we have used for our project and our rule tile has made this look like it is partially island, but some parts of it are water, and we cannot really make we shouldn't make our unit be able to move on top of those parts. So what we need to do to be able to get all the reference to the tiles that represent the map, the island, so all the movable tiles on which we can move our unit, our land unit, we are going to use this island collider tile map that we have created at the end and that we haven't used yet to represent our islands. So what we can do is go to our top menu of the Unity window. Let's select the 2D and tile palette, and it should open us the tile palette. We have the props and ground, as you might recall. I think that in props we should have this dark gray tile, so let's use this one. What I will do is select in the tile palette the active tile map island colliders, and we can set the additional settings of this tile palette in the inspector. Let's set this to be, for example, for now, the fog of war, so we can see it. I will select this paint a filled box tool, and I will fill in the map where there is the island, but not the parts where we have the water, since this will depict where our units can move on top of our map. Now, this is a lot of work right now, and of course, we could have painted it or used an algorithm to calculate it based on the island tiles. Now, right now, we are prototyping this, so we know that this area that we have right now marked is the walkable area that our units can walk on. At least this depicts the island. And we have, of course, the forest tiles and mountains tiles, which depict the other parts of our map. So the forest would be the difficult terrain, which takes more movement points for us to move through, and the mountains are impossible terrain which we cannot move through. So we can step on top of a mountain, we need to go around it, and this is part of the strategy game that you need to plan your route. Okay, now back to our island colliders. We could, of course, add to it a collider, for example, to prevent our ships to be able to move on top of this area. But for now, we have no ships, so we are not going to do this. So let's disable the tile map render on this island collider so that we can always re-enable it to check if this is correctly set. But basically, this will now be useful for us to get the reference to all the tiles or all the spots where we can step on, and we are going to use it later in our map class to check if our unit can move in this direction based on what is the tile underneath this position. Okay, let's re-enable our C tiles, and we can re-enable highlight, although we did not use it yet. So let's save our project, and this is it for this video. In the next one, we are going to get the reference to those tile maps in our map script, and we are going to extract all the information about what are the tiles on top of our map, so that we can later use it for our unit movement system to detect if we can move in this direction or not. And later on we are going to, of course, highlight the range of movement of our units so that player knows where they can move. Again, if you're enjoying this tutorial, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments section what you think about this, or if you find any bugs, let me know and I'll fix them. See you in the next video!